Moments with God, a time of reflection for every day.
March 8th. Exposed spots. And he saith unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. John 1:51.
Some tourists were coming down from the mountains who went to visit some lagoons in the heights of the Sierra. The day declined while they were taking photos of the adventure. The euphoria of the moment made them forget that they were not prepared to walk in the hours of the night. And a moment later, when the sky seemed to close, they prepared to return. Although they were returning in a hurry, night came, clouds filled the sky, and a prelude to storms was announced in the firmament. Suddenly, they could not advance any further. The black night prevented them from seeing the path, and with their slipping feet they tried to walk. After a few flashes of lightning, they could see for a second, as though it were daylight, the road which then disappeared into darkness. A flash of lightning in the midst of the rough thunder would dispel the darkness for a moment. A moment of light would reveal the muddy spots on them. A flash of clarity would show how black the dirt is. A ray of God's glory, a glimpse of the purity of Christ penetrating the soul, would make every stain of sin painfully visible, and discover the deformity and defects of human character. It would expose unholy desires, unbelief of heart, and impurity of the lips. The acts of disloyalty by which the sinner nullifies the law of God are exposed to their view, and their spirit would be grieved and oppressed under the searching influence of the Spirit of God, in the presence of Christ's pure and blameless character. The transgressor abhors himself. After the miraculous catch of fish on the Sea of Galilee, when Jesus approached the brave Peter, the fisherman could see the holiness of the Son of God, in contrast to his own unworthiness. Then he told the Lord not to come near him because he was a sinner. Such is the experience of one who contemplates the Lord, when at last the conceptions of justice that one has are annulled, when at last we understand that we are just as sinful as the rest of human beings, and that only the grace of God can clothe us with holiness. Our way of looking at ourselves is finished. We no longer see ourselves as if we had no sins, but rather that all that we are is exposed before the light that is Jesus Christ. We may flatter ourselves that our life has been upright, that our moral character is right, and think that we need not humble our hearts before God like the common sinner. But when the light of Christ shines into our souls, we shall see how impure we are. We shall discern the selfishness of our motives and the enmity against God, which have stained every act of our life. Then we shall know that our own righteousness is indeed as filthy rags, and that only the blood of Christ can cleanse us from the defilement of sin and renew our hearts into the likeness of the Lord. If we cannot yet see the deformity of our character, it is because we have not yet come to Jesus. If any man thinks himself better than another, and thinks himself holier than his brother, he is farther from the Lord. Therefore let us ever look to Jesus, that our stains may be exposed, and that from the Lord himself we may have cleansing and healing. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this audio. We invite you to share with your contacts and visit the website BibleWell.com.